So I was going through a lot of the worksheets from my hybrid class. I know the 119X, you guys will be seeing this worksheet on Monday. Typically for my binomial worksheets, I like to see some work associated with the problem. So just giving me a value, a probability by itself is not enough to get full points for that worksheet. So typically what I'd be looking for is something like hybrid class saw in our class on Friday before spring break. So if you're in my other class, you haven't necessarily seen this yet, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to have a calculator shortcut. So I tend to want to see both this probability notation and then the actual calculator shortcut used. Now that changes a little bit now that we are in a situation where we might not be using the calculator. So I'm going to tell you what is acceptable as work shown for that worksheet. So in that previous question, let me just bring it back. We had an n of 12, a p of 0.35, and for the first question, we were looking for exactly 5. So probability of success was 0.35, number of trials was 12, and we were looking for 5 as our number of successes. This online calculator I'll put up in Canvas. I already have for the hybrid class, but I'll do that as well for the 119X. If you click calculate, this little online calculator should actually calculate something. Nope, everything was good. Why aren't you calculating? Let me refresh. Maybe you are broken in some way. 0.35, 12, and 5. Okay, there you go. It'll give you the probability of equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or greater than equal to. So in this case, well, I don't need you to show all the same amount of work that I would have before, because you could use a calculator like this. And if you're using a calculator like this, all I really need to see is that you've defined your P and your N, and that you've told me which probability you were looking for on that little set of probabilities. So in this case, probability X is equal to 5. So if you just wrote probability notation with X is equal to or less than or greater than or whatever it might be, that is okay work because of the situation we are in. Now, if your work here doesn't match the value you gave out, you're going to be in trouble. I do want to show you guys one more way you could do this stuff. If you were in StatCrunch, there is actually a calculator for the binomial. So you can also do this within the binomial if you want. Within this calculator in StatCrunch. N is 2, P is 0.35, and we were interested in, so you're not distracted by any of the other answers. You have to think ahead of time, equal to 5. So you get that same number, 0.2039, that we got with the calculator, as well as using this binomial calculator online. So those are some ways to get those values. The most important piece is that you're reading carefully for which direction those probabilities we're looking for. The only other thing I was going to say is, again, it's super obvious that a lot of people are collaborating on the worksheets. It's okay for the worksheets, right? That's the goal of classwork, is that you work together. But if you are just copying somebody else's work, I assure you it's going to be obvious on the exam, and I will give both you and the person you copied off a 0. And you're not preparing for the exam. The whole point of these worksheets, the reason I'm giving you an unlimited number of tries to turn them in and get feedback, is so that you can learn and you can become better at this material, not so that you can just copy somebody's work. Remember, there's no true deadline on those worksheets. It's whenever you manage to get them done. So take your best pass at it. If you have questions as you're going through and you can't make it to office hours, submit your worksheet with the questions written out. Like, be like, I'm not sure what direction this is, or I don't know how I'm supposed to interpret not all. Give me the questions and I'll answer them when I send back your work. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. You've got 2 good binomial calculators in addition to the TI 84, 83, and 36X, which I have shown you how to use.